This is KYW TV, Philadelphia. Now, coverage you can count on. This is KYW News 3 at 6.
Good evening, I'm Stephanie Stahl.
And I'm Larry Kane, and our top story tonight is also a question. Is Andrew Kobach 94?
Whacked us again with a spring snow that fits right in with all the other bizarre things Mother Nature has handed us lately. News 3 was in Mount Laurel, Burlington County, where it looked like the middle of winter. In Bucks County, the snow resulted in reduced visibility in Southampton Township. Traffic backed up periodically during heavy snow squalls, and the April snow had the same effect throughout parts of Montgomery County. This is the scene in Lower Moreland Township this morning. And it was a cold, wet, windy day in Center City, Philadelphia. Coats that many folks had put away till next winter made a return appearance. So the big question now is, how's the weather shaping up? And Tom LeMaine is here with that answer for us.
I guess it has to improve, right?
Yes, it should, we hope.
Although that little snow we had today was nothing like we had on the April Fool's snowstorm about 2 weeks ago, where we had up to 10 inches of snow in many areas. But, you know, it's a nice snow to fall. It doesn't really lay on the ground. It looks pretty. But conditions are improving for the weekend, just in time.
Good.
Also ahead on News 3 sickness or whatever vacation. Tom LeMaine is the marathon man. He did the early program today at 5:30 a.m., the noon, this one, the 11. You're incredible. How do you do that?
Staying here till I get it right.
For an older guy, how do you do that?
Staying here till I get it right. And we have had some, I follow you, Larry, see how you do it, and I just go along with the plan. We have the latest snowfall ever to occur in Philadelphia, by the way, if you're wondering. Can it still snow in April? Yes. 1967. It snowed on that date for the 27th of April, 1967. Just a tenth of an inch of snow. But back in 1983, we had 2 inches of snow on the 19th and the 20th of April. So spring is sprung, but Mother Nature isn't done getting her licks in. Let's take a look right now. Spring, not only is it cold, and we had some snow this morning, but now it's windy, adding insult to injury. Blowing the fountain around at the Love statue down at 15th and the Boulevard in downtown Philadelphia. Let's go to the Jersey Shore because things are brightening up. Look to the south as we walk on the water here. It is really looking pretty good along the Jersey Shore south of Atlantic City as we look toward Longport. Okay, it is windy too. The shore camp is shaking right now, but look to the south, just around Longport and Ocean City. There are some breaks in the overcast, and that is boding well for the improving weather for the weekend. KYW 3D flyby, nothing happening in the Midwest, but in the far west, but as you get to the Midwest, this little curve right here is a warm front, and that is making its way into the upper Midwest and will probably give us some clouds in here as milder weather tries to move in for the weekend, but I don't think it's going to bring any rain. Meanwhile, the storm, and this is a pretty big storm, it's starting to develop, continuing to deepen as it moves up off the New England coastline right now, and the backlash around it is bringing cold air directly down from Canada, way below normal temperatures right now. Cloud cover shows the development of it, and then it moves off into this area of the Atlantic. It started off Atlantic City, but as you can see now, it has redeveloped further north, and as a result, skies are clearing to the south of Atlantic City, as you can see, and our rain is also clearing out. A closer look shows that the remaining rain left in the area is just on the northern and eastern edge of Burlington County, up around Ocean County and off toward Monmouth County, and up toward Sandy Hook and up in the New York City area. But back here, we are out of the rain, and some breaks in the overcast are starting to be seen, as you saw with our shore camp. But it is cold. 46 degrees in Pittsburgh right now, 41 in New York, 45 in Boston. Here's where the heavy snow is falling. Anybody interested up in that area, the upper tier of New York State and into the higher mountains of Vermont and northern Massachusetts. But it's cloudy in Boston while it's snowing in Albany right now. 46 degrees in Atlantic City with gale warnings in effect. That's what the temperature's like, but it feels like 25 with the wind chill. 26 is our wind chill in Philadelphia with an actual temperature of 47. We had a wind gust of 44 miles an hour at 2:13 this afternoon. Cloudy, windy, and cold tonight. Low down around 32 to 37. Continued windy tomorrow with sunny periods and afternoon temperatures getting up into the mid-50s. And Sunday even better. 60 degrees for a high. Next chance of rain moving in late Monday or early Tuesday. But a gradual improvement in the weekend. But it'll still be windy tomorrow, Larry, despite the fact that it'll be up around 55 degrees. Steph?
Okay, thanks. Well, have you ever admired...
Scope, and WeatherScope is sponsored by Applebee's.
Next on WeatherScope, thousands of people are forced from their homes early this morning as floodwaters in the upper Midwest start to break through some levees and dikes. A storm in the Northeast has brought heavy rain to many areas, causing some flash flooding. These stories and in-depth forecast and analysis next on this edition of WeatherScope.
Well, good afternoon from the Weather Channel. Another spring snow event.
It's getting old.
I don't know if it's big enough to call it a storm. Well, yeah, it could be a storm, especially if you live in, let's see, Tannersville, 8 to 10 inches of snow in Greene County. Pretty much in the Catskills, we've had probably some of the heaviest snow, at least as far as we know, but we do suspect that some of the mountains in Vermont have also picked up pretty decent snow accumulations.
I was surprised to see even down to Philadelphia and in Atlantic City they had snow early in the day, but now rain, if anything, in that area.
Go figure.
It's a nasty spring day once again, and that is true in the northern plains, especially here. The snow from earlier in the winter melting down has caused the problems here in Grand Forks. Early this morning they started evacuations between 5 and 6. They had to sound the sirens to order people to leave because while dikes had not broken yet, they did begin to by this afternoon. In anticipation of that, they started evacuations early in the day. And the situation all along the Red River from Minnesota into North Dakota is very much the same. The river is bursting its banks in many areas, and floodwaters are swamping homes and flooding thousands of acres of farmland. In northern Minnesota, state officials are concerned that if certain dikes fail, the flooding could reach catastrophic proportions. And I'm sure if your home is in line of those floodwaters, that's exactly what you're thinking at this time. Let's check a few specific locations. Fargo, the second crest is coming today, 22.5 feet above flood stage as of this morning. And Aiken, 4 feet over and holding steady at this point. In Mankato, they crested on the 10th, and they've been seeing a slow fall. They're still about 5 feet over. East Grand Forks has been the real problem area of the day. We've continued to get reports of minor leaks in the dike and a lot of evacuations. The latest one came with a flash flood warning that's in effect until 5:30 local time. The crest should be coming today, and it is expected that the river there, the Red River in Grand Forks, will stay at this record flood stage for as much as 8 days, so we could continue to see more breaks in the dikes there. Well, that will be a continuing problem zone. St. Paul, rivers are receding there. We'll keep you up to date on this story. Declan?
Well, gusty winds, locally heavy rain with flooding, and some heavy wet snow have occurred over parts of the Northeast this afternoon, courtesy of a low-pressure system southeast of Cape Cod. The rain's been falling all day. Parts of New Hampshire, in fact, around Salem, it started raining late yesterday, and it's expected to continue through the night. We've had reports of 2 to 3 inches of rain in central York County, Maine, and problems with flooding along the Spicket River. You can see here some minor flooding in a nearby mobile home park near Salem, near the Spicket River. Now, the satellite view shows all the clouds lined up and just continuing to funnel in from the Atlantic. Now, the problem with this pattern is that it appears to have pretty much set itself up, and it wants to stay almost fixed in this corridor of moisture, abundant moisture coming in from the southeast, strong southeasterly winds, so about 1,000 feet above the ocean's surface, and that's just pumping all that rain back on shore, and then snow continues to pile up. And snow heavy at times from the Adirondacks south into the Catskills, into northwestern Vermont. Quite a bit of snow so far. Over in the northeast part of the state, though, with the easterly winds coming down off of the White Mountains, a little bit more of a shadowing effect, so not quite the extent of snow. In fact, in the valley floors, a combination of some rain and some snowflakes mixed in. Then you can see the rain in New Hampshire, southeasternmost Vermont, but we've had reports of some accumulation in the Berkshires in western Massachusetts. I think the winds will be more of a problem as we go into this evening. Now, they haven't been terribly bad yet, but that could change tonight because the storm centered here is forecast to intensify quite a bit tonight, and so we could really see the winds increase along the coast. Some winds could gust over 55 miles an hour. Now, you can see on the radar here we're missing some data. It temporarily goes away on us there, unfortunately, but it just continues to pump back towards northern and central New Hampshire. In Cumberland and York counties, flood warnings in effect. Also in Carroll and Grafton County, or excuse me, Stratford counties in New Hampshire, we do have flood warnings in effect until later this evening. And you can see that canopy of precipitation extending all the way back into the Hudson Valley. 33 at Albany now, also 33 at Burlington. And then as we go south, we run into some of the warmer air. In fact, 53 this hour in Washington, D.C. All right, let's check the rest of the nation's weather now with Jill.
All right, we want to take a look at Texas because we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And you can probably pick it out on this radar. Terrell County, all right, here it is. Right through here, you can see that cell really kind of stands out as opposed to the rest of scattered light rain showers that we have across the state. This is moving slowly, southeast, about 15 miles per hour. with that slow movement, expect very heavy rain. Could have some strong wind gusts as well. And it's really an area of low pressure in the upper atmosphere that's bringing us the scattered rain showers and the threat of thunderstorms for today. And you know, it's bringing that moisture back across New Mexico and Arizona. So you can see here with our lightning detection data that lightning strikes have been reported in New Mexico over onto the Mogollon Rim. This is something that you see a lot of times in the summer. You get just enough moisture streaming up over those mountains. The clouds begin to puff up like you see here. The thunderstorms put down a lot more lightning than rain because it is dry at the lower levels of the atmosphere. So have had only a few reports of rain across New Mexico and Arizona, even though we have a fair amount showing up on the radar. Other than here in the southwest, we do have a batch of fairly heavy rain coming into California. We had heavier rain from Seattle to Portland earlier. That's kind of slacked off and scattered about. Over towards Boise, a little rain, and up towards Spokane, a little rain as well. As you get down on Interstate 5 south of the California border, Mount Shasta to Chico to Ukiah, it is pouring rain. In San Francisco, that band of rain is coming into the bay as we speak. In the Northern Plains, the last check on the rain is here. It is south of Minneapolis, moving down into Iowa as well. It looks like while this moves out, the next system coming in could bring rain to Grand Forks. Definitely bad news in our forecast. Declan?
Well, let's take a look at that forecast. The low pressure scoots across West Kentucky. That's in the morning. Meanwhile, the low continues to move away from New England, but the clouds, the rain, and even the snow are left through most of the day, and more rain will push into the southern Appalachians. You can see the rain, though, making its way across central North and South Dakota down to Nebraska. Could even be a few thunderstorms east of that warm front by tomorrow late in the day in eastern Kansas. Heaviest rain targeted for New England tonight, especially along that corridor of moisture which continues to stream in from the Atlantic Ocean. We showed that to you on the satellite and on the radar pictures. And Jill, it looks like that heavy rain will continue well into the nighttime, and we could see additional flooding as a result. But I think, of course, the big story is the terrible situation in the Northern Plains.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date on the flooding there every half hour, and we'll keep checking those snowfall tallies as well. Stay with us. Time for travel out of here by Sunday. Still a problem tomorrow, however. Oh, Monday, actually, instead of Sunday. Monday, Patriots Day and the Boston Marathon, and we have some pretty crummy weather for the moment. Very strong winds. Our sun's setting here, so the satellite picture's kind of fading on us, but you can see circulation of winds bringing that moisture into Maine with the heaviest rain here, and flood warnings are in effect in York and Cumberland counties, Carroll and Stafford County over the border into New Hampshire, where they've already had 2 to 3 inches of rain. Here's the latest radar. We've had a few problems with this, so you're going to have to use a little bit of imagination. You can see how much rain is coming in there. It disappears, but in reality, it's still out there. It's just a problem with the radar. So Interstate 95 is going to be a problem through here. Again, flooding has already been reported, and that's right down in this general vicinity. We had reports of flooding in Salem, New Hampshire. We've been showing you the video there, and we'll show it to you again coming up very shortly. This would be snow, and pretty heavy snow actually. From Burlington through Messina, down through Poughkeepsie it's been snowing, and the Catskills we've had reports of up to 10 inches at Hunter Mountain. Can you believe that? Wouldn't you like to get those skis back out one more time this season? Well, maybe not. I know that when it comes to April, even though we hadn't had much snow over the winter, chances are you're not looking at this with any kind of envy if you're not getting it. So this is where it's going to be heaviest. Here's our forecast. 3 to 6 in addition to what's on the ground. So some locations are going to end up with a total of a foot of snow out of this April storm system. Doesn't compare to the last April storm we had, which brought us 2 to 3 feet of snow, but it's late in the month now, and this is not going to last long. As a matter of fact, look at these temperatures. Everybody above freezing until you get up to Montpelier. Now, or Montreal, that is. We have had snow in Montpelier and Burlington, Vermont overnight tonight as temperatures drop a little bit. Going to get below freezing, and in the mountains, I'm sure it is sticking to the roadway. So travel through the mountains will be a problem. Near the coast, while it will be all rain, it'll be a wind-driven rain. Beach erosion is possible here. As our storm intensifies tonight, the winds are likely to get stronger. So that onshore gradient to the north of our low will bring all that water toward the coast of Maine and up north of Boston especially, where winds could be gusting to 60 miles per hour. Winds will be offshore, Watch Hill, Chincoteague, down to Virginia Beach to Cape Lookout. Gale warnings are in effect there, and we have had wind gusts today. You can see from this map in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range, all the way down into the Carolinas. Our low is up here, but the winds behind it are really driving that cold air all the way down into Florida. So a breezy day out there, without a doubt. It's a little breezy out here in the plains as well, not quite so bad, not as strong a storm system by any means, but this is also bringing us some rain, and it'll bring a little bit of cooler weather along with it. Next storms here, we're going to really keep them lined up. They'll follow the jet stream from the northwest to the plains to the southeast over the next few days, and it'll be one after another. So it looks a little messy out there with our main storm in the northeast right now, and we'll kind of keep that trend going. In the east, with the trough in the jet stream, it drops in the east. That's where the cooler air is, not just 10 degrees below normal this morning, while the west is pretty warm. I haven't seen any record highs yet today, but it's hot out there. In Jackson, Kentucky to Jackson, Mississippi, we had record lows this morning. Temperatures down below freezing in some locations, and we had a pretty long list of record lows that included Atlanta, as you can see there, 33 degrees, and all the way down to Biloxi in Mississippi, the home of the hurricane hunters at Kessler Air Force Base. They had a record low as well. Here's the rest of them down to Lake Charles, 44. Well, we have negative numbers on our 24-hour temperature change. In other words, temperatures continue to drop here, while in the plains, they may be warming up at least a little bit. Look at this, 70s and 80s, but as the front sweeps through, that'll drop a little bit tomorrow. So there's your snowfall forecast. Thunderstorms also possible here in Missouri in the next few hours to come. We'll watch for that. Stick with us. We'll be checking a few more radars, and we'll get a look at that forecast as well at top of the hour.
Cute kids.
Pieces, but not a